think I got it. Okay. So welcome to our dark moon. And this dark moon is preceding the new moon in Pisces that is happening tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Eastern time, just confirmed. Yeah, and so if you guys want to make sure, let's see, I'm going to mute anybody that's, so we don't hear any background noises. So this new moon is happening tomorrow at 5 a.m. Eastern time, and it is in Pisces, and it's 20 degrees of Pisces. So wherever that's hitting you in your personal astrological chart is going to be, is going to be kind of like how you're receiving those frequencies. And we'll talk a little bit about the moon for those of you that don't know me. We'll talk a little bit about, this dark moon and the new moon and the energy of the new moon. And then we'll do a little bit of a process, a little bit of a ritual with it so that we can actually drop into the frequencies of the dark moon that are happening right now and what that is offering us in this moment. And so, my name is Leonor Murciano-Luna, for those that don't know me, and thank you for coming and thank you for being here. I am I'm the founder of Conscious Feminine Medicine, a non-for-profit organization that's dedicated to really the awakening of the feminine within women, allowing us to heal, allowing us to empower ourselves, and also bringing through the feminine healing arts, the ancient feminine healing arts, and expressing that creative flow through us as women. But really dedicated overall to the awakening of consciousness on the planet through the feminine. And so, and so the dark moon to me is really, really a powerful time, the cycles of the moon, to receive and to allow ourselves to dive in to these frequencies. I'm just setting the mic because I remember that the mic has to be close to me. Doesn't work otherwise. And so the time of the dark moon, just as a kind of like a little synopsis, because I know most of you are very familiar and have heard this a million times. You've been with me for years. I've been doing this for, been doing this for a long time. Maybe 8 years now. Yeah, off and on. So the dark moon is a time, it's like we see it as the 3 days where the most potent energy is, the 3 days before the new moon. The dark moon really, the disseminating moon, after the full moon, you have a day 15 all the way through the end of the cycle of the moon, the day 29, in which the light that the moon is reflecting, becomes less and less and less and less. And then on day 29 and a half, to be exact, the new moon is born, and then the light starts to increase again. So we have two basic cycles of the moon. You have the increase of the light from day 1 of the dark moon, of the new moon, to the full moon. And then from the full moon to the new moon is the disseminating, when the light is decreasing each time, each day, each moment. And so these last 3 days, that window right before the new moon, is what we call the dark moon time. And the dark moon time is very powerful because it's kind of an energy of being able to release, being able to dissolve, letting go of really, it's that death process of the feminine, in which we're really allowing these aspects of ourselves that have been in separation, in pain, in beliefs about ourselves, in judgment, and the conditioning that doesn't really serve us, to, kind of allow ourselves to let them go and to come into greater union with the divine and the divine mother goddess, the divine essence, the cosmic universe, so many words for source, in whichever way you hold it. But it is a time to kind of dissolve our egoic states that have been kind of created in defense and separation, and really allow ourselves to go deeply into that cosmic womb and into the unknown, but to be nourished, right? To be held and to come into greater intimacy with that which is always holding us, which I refer to as the Great Mother, as the Mother Goddess, as a universal mother, cosmic womb mother. So all those names I kind of use interchangeably. And so the dark moon has also been associated with our cycles. And for those women that are bleeding, so when you get your cycle, it's also a time, when you get your menstruation, it's also a time where your body is shedding. And so you can think of your shedding, not just physical shedding of the lining, but psychically you're shedding, old thought patterns, old fears, old judgments, and not just thought patterns, but emotional patterns, trauma, all sorts of pain and suffering. And so usually when you start to do and be conscious of the moon cycle, a lot of times your cycle, if you're bleeding, still will start to align itself with the moon cycle. And you'll actually start bleeding around the dark moon time, and and then in the full moon, it's more of a more active, outward celebration time. But it doesn't matter wherever your cycle is. It's almost like, depending on what's going on with you, it may be all over, the cycle of the moon. But a lot of times it does start to align in this way with the dark moon and the new moon. So, having said that, this month, and actually tonight at 5 a.m. this evening or in the morning, we will have this exact junction of the new moon in Pisces, 20 degrees. And wherever that is hitting on your chart, so we all have Pisces somewhere in our chart, the chart from our birth moment. And so that shows us where specifically that will be affecting us. So if it's like in our moon, if it's, in the area where our moon is, it might really be accentuating how we feel, accentuating soul themes, accentuating our desires, things like that. If it's in the fourth house, it might be accentuating things with our house, with our home, how we feel at home, or even our ancestors or ancestral work, things like that. So, you can take a look at that later if you know about your chart, and just look at where is the Pisces area. Our chart is divided into 12 different houses. So what house is, Pisces in? So I'm very, personally, I am very partial to Pisces because it's my rising, and this moon is actually hitting my rising, my ascendant. So it's like, oh wow, this is so exciting. So for me, it's a really powerful time, and I think it's not just for me. I think there's a lot going on, and this Pisces energy is really asking us, because we have a few different planets conjunct. We have we have Saturn, and we have Neptune, which is also, Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. And I don't want to get too technical, because that's not kind of what we're doing here. But it is a very powerful time, because Saturn and Neptune, it's like Saturn is giving us this idea of structure, and depending on how, the how you hold Saturn, Saturn in its highest form is really about creating structures that can house, that can manifest the higher frequencies of who we are, so our divine self. And Neptune is like the higher frequency of Venus, so it's about the love, it's about the spiritual path, and it's also the ruler of Pisces. So we have a lot of really big energies with this new moon. So you might be feeling this Pisces also because it's a water sign, and a lot of times, if we're not conscious of the process, it might actually be might be moving us, moving our waters, which is moving our tears, moving our, ability to grieve, and we might be flooded with emotions, at this time as well. I know that there was a lot of intensity happening in the last 3 days, emotional pieces coming up to be grieved and to be released. So I was definitely feeling that emotional wave, of that flooding wave, because there's, like I said, there's a couple of planets in Pisces, and with this new moon, it's all like highlighted, right? It's all being activated. So Pisces is really the sign of unity. It's really the sign of our divine self and our spiritual nature, and it's really giving us, it's like highlighting how we are in communication with our divine self. Like, where are we, how, what is the relationship with our soul? How do we allow ourselves to express that? But also, how are we in relationship to the greater soul, to the greater divine, to source? And so it's an opportunity in this dark moon to look at and release the places within us that perhaps aren't really able to trust fully, still have doubts about, is the divine really there for me? And, that might be hitting in the area where your Pisces is at. So it might be hitting in, if it's second house, financial, is the divine, really there for me in terms of the finances, or in terms of relationships with other people. So it's almost like looking at your relationship with the divine, and where is there still those ego parts of us that are in fear, that are in separation. And this is part of the awakening, right? This is part of how we awaken, by being able to look at these places within us, acknowledge them without judgment, and then letting ourselves feel what's there, right? Pisces allows us to transform and transmute these places by actually feeling them, right? It's a water sign, so it's not about, so much understanding, but rather just feeling. It's like opening up our hearts, and we're going to be doing, a little bit of this, or at least we'll have the opportunity to do this tonight in our process. So So Pisces, and then 20 degrees, of course, it's like right kind of in the middle. Usually we have 30 degrees of a sign. So it's like really center. really center energy with the divine. So ourselves as the divine, right? And the greater divine realm. So we're looking at these kinds of relationship with our ability to express from our soul and still be grounded in our humanity, in this physical realm that we're in. So allowing ourselves to be really honest with ourselves, and without judgment, to look at where we're in fear, because fear is usually comes from a place of not feeling safe and not being able to feel held and supported, and where we are in separation, where there's some kind of conditioning happening, that we're believing that we're not going to be okay in some way. And in that place is where we are not in direct communication or in direct experience of the divine that's holding us at all times, right? Like the great mother and the love that's available to us. So in that place, we might be feeling isolated, we might be feeling separate, we might be feeling all alone. And so allowing ourselves to, it's almost like bringing that up so that we can offer that in this dark moon energy, and allowing ourselves to receive, because the way that we transmute in the dark moon is really about opening up to receive the love, right? It's not about taking this part of us that's in fear and then making it wrong. On the contrary, it's like really acknowledging and being with and allowing ourselves, opening up right in that space of fear, discomfort, grief, sadness, whatever the emotions are. Hi. And then receiving the deeper truth of that, which is receiving that light, that breath of the divine, which brings in the love, the unconditional love, and all of those qualities that are available to us. So that's a little bit about the Pisces journey. Let me just think or feel. So one other thing about the Pisces signature that I'd like to mention is our ability to, as we're shifting into this awakening consciousness, we're also learning how to function from a different place, from our wisdom, from the wisdom in our body, rather than from our mind and the part of us that knows or that thinks that knows everything and what to do. And so as we're kind of going more into this embodiment and the embodiment of the feminine, many times it's just we're kind of navigating these places of not knowing, right? Of coming into direct, I really want to say, into like a direct confrontation in a way with a place within us that doesn't know. Like, I don't know how to solve ABC. I don't know what decision to make next. I don't know. And so when we're coming into those places, it's very Piscean energy, because that's kind of where we're being asked to surrender and to be guided, right? To be guided into our next step without necessarily knowing, without having an intellectual, reasoning around what that next step is. So we're in many ways being asked to trust and to follow the guidance and let go of operating just with our mind, because that's kind of what, you know, the feminine path is really about. It's really about being able to listen to the guidance and the wisdom that is available to us without necessarily always doing it just from our minds, right? So moving out of just the head space, deeper into the heart space, deeper into our womb space. And through this deepening and connection and activation of our womb space, we're able to hear the wisdom and be led into whole new areas that we don't know. We don't know with our minds because we haven't experienced it yet. And so that's the process also of the awakening. And so I bring this up because these places that we get to this place of not knowing, and usually when we get to that place of not knowing, we go in two ways. We either go into survival mode, and then we're kind of like just doing to kind of figure it out and move out of that and hopefully it works kind of energy, right? And we're just kind of chasing our tail and doing. And what in the Pisces energy, what it's asking us to do is to actually be with that place of not knowing, and it's like surrendering into it. And of course, dealing with the fear that comes up when we don't know, when we feel stuck, when we feel like we don't have a clue. And to actually, instead of like jump to our heads and do what most of our society does, which is like just kind of put more effort, figure it out. It's more about surrendering and listening. And so this is actually more of a feminine process, but it's also a process of trusting the divine and then listening to see what feels right. And we can feel into what our next step is by actually feeling it in our body. It's a resonance. And so this is also a very kind of Piscean, or an aspect of that is very Piscean. It's like right at that threshold, that decision that we make to surrender and process and allow the fear to be felt, so that it can transform and receive the love and receive more safety. And then it's like then opening in to something new and allowing that new inspiration to come through us. So that process, the surrendering in particular, is very Piscean. That also has, aspects of like Scorpio energy into it, because we're like really diving in and feeling and letting all that flow. But the surrendering. And so again, for tonight, we can also bring in and actively work with any place within us in our field that we might, where we've gotten stuck lately. Is there any place within you that feels stuck and, is facing that darkness, but the darkness that it's facing, again, it's not a negative thing, but we make it a negative thing, because if all we feel is the fear and then we kind of run the other way, then we actually don't allow ourselves to dissolve and to open up to a new reality. So I wanted to bring that element in as well. Yeah. So I'm going to pause, since we have a few written before. Okay. All right. So let's first set sacred space. So just allow ourselves to kind of sit comfortably wherever we are. Let's make sure we're all muted. Are we all muted? I thought I heard something. Yeah, we're all muted. Okay. And yeah, and if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. And if you don't, that's okay too. And so I'm just gonna bring in a prayer, an invocation, and just set our sacred ritual space. And let yourself connect with the earth. Whatever you're sitting on can act as the earth for you, connecting your roots all the way down into the earth, receiving her blessings, receiving her energy of the earth and her support on the physical realm. And then opening up our top of the head, crown chakra, receiving all of the cosmic frequencies, lunar frequencies, and all other frequencies of light. And just becoming aware that both of those channels are open. And as we do that, just taking a deep breath into our womb space, sacral womb, lower abdomen, pelvic area. Just being with our breath. And just listening and allowing. Dear Mother, I bow my head, heart, and womb to you, for you are the creatrix and the creation. From your womb, the 10,000 things are born. I ask that you bring me close to you, awaken me, and hold me in your divine flow. Hold me in your ecstatic presence where all veils are dissolved, leaving only your whispering truth as my teacher. Let me drink from your cup of mercy and merge with you into the annihilation of my being forever and ever, dear Mother. And then we're going to take a minute to actually invite the Great Mother, Goddess, Divine Source, into our space so we can feel the frequencies of light, and invite the ancient mothers that are her intermediaries, ancient mothers that are in the light, the feminine wisdom keepers, the light beings, and any of the allies that you're used to working with, if that feels comfortable, any of your guides, like Mary Magdalene or Kali or Kuan Yin, or we can just allow the ancient mothers and the feminine wisdom keepers to be here. Yeah. And so just allowing ourselves, we ask our guides to clear our field, our energetic field, around 3 to 5 feet around us, around our physical body, 3 or 5 feet out, and to just clear the field of anything and everything that is no longer needed in this moment. Any energies, any thought forms, any entities, anything we might have picked up during our day, during our month, our year, with others, or outside, or by what we're seeing, etc., etc. So just asking them to clear our field and just taking a moment to feel that. And just taking a moment with that. Letting that sphere be all around us of light. And then asking our guides to also create a womb around us, each other, or ourselves actually. First for ourselves. A womb of light all around. This is spherical, holding that boundary where our field is clear and we're protected as we gather here tonight and at any other time. You can always call us in. So really feeling that boundary around you of protection. And then allowing yourself to feel the boundary of our group, asking the guides to create a boundary of protection around our group. For tonight, that will be dissolved after we finish this class, this gathering. And then we allow ourselves a minute or two to bring in our intention. You know, if there's an intention in your heart of what you'd like to receive on all levels, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually on the soul level, right? Like what you personally would like to receive. And sometimes we can also let it be open, you know, to receive more light, more wisdom, more deepening with our soul, deepening with our guides. Whatever it is that calls to you in this moment. And now an intention of prayer for your family, for those around you, your community, your family, your community. And then last, we will set an impression and a prayer of intention for the world, whatever is in your heart and in your soul, to set as an intention for the world. invocation with the drum. And so just let everything that you've activated just kind of flow through you as I do this invocation with the drum, with the frame drum. Let yourself just kind of feel a little bit more into that energy. Or kind of clearing, that help to clear some of the layers of the mind. A little bit more. So let yourself just kind of drop into your body, into your womb, sacral womb space. And typically the breath is best to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. So breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then let yourself bring one hand onto your heart, your right hand, and then your left hand can go on your womb, your sacral womb, like in your abdomen area. Yeah, let's just breathe into our heart in this moment. Breathe into that right hand, letting yourself just feel what's in your heart in this moment. And just notice what within you is ready to be seen. What within you might have been lit up when we were talking about the different themes. And just bring that awareness. Bring
Sí,
that.
que le puso que me llamara para
Bring that.
hablar, quiero hablar con el de
I'm gonna
situación.
Claudia. Some reason you kind of that happens.
My apologies. Sorry, ladies.
You're fine. Happens. So just bring your awareness into your heart and see if there's a place in your heart you're not aware of exactly what it is for tonight, and that's perfectly fine. We don't want to depend on the mind's direction too much. We want to kind of allow, and just feeling into your heart, like, is there a place of constriction? Is there a place of tightness? Is there a place that's been showing up in your life lately of fear or stuckness? Or where you believe that it's not for you, or that you don't get to have this, or that it's challenging or difficult, or where you feel alone, or where there's grief and sadness or fear. Is there a repeating pattern that's ready to be seen without judgment? And just feeling into that space in the heart and trusting that whatever arises is perfect. So just take a minute to breathe into that place in your heart. Breathing in through the nose and out through your mouth. And we're breathing in, we're imagining or intending, I should say, to breathe in the love, knowing that you're being breathed, right? The breath is coming in, but it's kind of coming in from the cosmic universe, the mother, all around us, right? And so we breathe in the love right into that place in our heart. Whether it's a thought pattern, whether it's an emotional pattern, or both, whatever you're aware of in this moment. Whether it's a physical, you might feel the physical sensation of tightness or constriction, right? Whatever you're aware, you're breathing right into that place. Breathing in the love, receiving, opening for love. It's like opening to receive the lunar frequencies, knowing that there might be a different reality than what that thought, emotion, belief, or sensation has experienced, right? It might be a different reality that is loving, that is supportive, that is safe. And so just breathing that in to that place. Yeah. Notice where that breath is going. So it might be going somewhere in your body. You might be feeling it in your body. Breathing that in, breathing in the love right into that place. And as you're doing that, it's like that place of tightness, of constriction, it starts to open and soften. And it just starts to receive a new light. And all you're doing is surrendering it and allowing it. Surrendering it and allowing it. And just breathing. And start to feel the edges of it softening and receiving the frequencies of love, the frequencies of new possibility. You do that, you continue to breathe. We're going to use our sound. We're going to use the sound of ah to let it soften even more. Just you can follow me, or you can do your own pace and rhythm. Giving moments of pause in between. Organic. Whatever tone comes through you, trust that. Keep following that. Continuing to breathe. And if you feel like it, giving the sound a pause for a minute. Just noticing your heart, noticing what's happening. What's shifting. And just continuing to breathe and allow. And I'm going to read these words to you. As I sit in contemplation, I travel into the gates of the unknown. Inquisitively, I explore the prohibitive dark path of the hidden. I stumble upon the light of my existence. Here, I enter the womb of disillusion and find the place of separation. I enter cautiously, and I am pleasantly greeted by the queendom of heaven within. I find the light of my existence dissolving into the ocean of pre-existence. Here my soul rests, expands, and renews, and there is no separation. My soul is her soul, where manifested consciousness merges with unmanifested consciousness. I have been absorbed into the essence of my being, becoming no thing. I rest, I expand, and I dissolve, and there is no I. Then it is time, and she returns me, breathing through me the lost wisdom of her mystery. So just letting yourself continue to breathe, keeping your hands on the heart and on the womb. Noticing that slowly the heart space that was constricted starts to open and soften and receive exactly what she's been needing. And as the transformation and transmutation happens, that part of you is coming with you. The only thing that we're leaving behind is the illusion, the constriction, the belief that doesn't serve you anymore. And as you start to feel this integration, the channel, the portal between your heart and your womb space starts to soften and open and connect. It's the bridge between your heart and your womb, your sacral womb, your left hand, your right hand and your left hand. The channel begins to open, begins to receive more and more light. The lunar frequencies that are coming in and the greater frequencies of love from the Mother Goddess, Source. And so as you continue deepening, softening, surrendering, you want to start to sound the ooh sound, to open and soften the womb. And your womb, realizing that in your womb space is the portal to the Great Mother, to the divine, to Source, to the cosmic womb of her being, where you can rest and be nurtured and come into the darkness that the moon offers us, a place of rest for our soul, a place of the dark moon, the dark cosmic womb, where we are completely nourished and nurtured and held. And you can come into greater and greater union, merge with that aspect of your being and with the Great Mother herself. And so just breathing and sounding the ooh into that, into I'm going to be doing it into the drum. And you're just and doing the ooh, ooh, and then pausing when it feels right for you. For whatever arises as you sound and you pause. we're coming to a closing, letting ourselves continue this receiving, continue to be open to receiving, to being nurtured, to being held. And allowing ourselves really to receive during this time. And then tomorrow to write and to journal, the seeds that we are planting for this new cycle. And we can actually start, if it feels right for you, you can just become aware of what seeds are you planting in this moment of deeper truth for this new cycle and for every cycle thereafter. And perhaps you may know now, and perhaps you might still be in the process of dissolving and receiving. And so let yourself just be wherever you are. Don't force yourself into setting intentions in this moment. Let yourself be. Because there's a lot of really yummy, nurturing energy here in this deep, deep womb of the mother. Yeah. And so as we begin our process of closing the circle, even though it continues within you, just allow ourselves to bow in gratitude in our heart, in our head, heart, and womb, and to give thanks to the Great Mother, and to the Divine, to the ancient mothers and feminine wisdom keepers, to all our guides, the light beings that are here with us. And giving gratitude for all of those that are here today as well in our circle that came to be present and to become aware and awaken to greater levels of love and reclaim the Mother Goddess into our consciousness and onto the planet, and the peace and the love that brings with it, and the sacredness for all of creation. Beautiful. And so I want to thank each and every person. I know we're a little bit already past time. Thank you very much for being here. And you can find more information on our Facebook, the Feminine Medicine, and I believe that's our name on Facebook. I have a few different pages. The Feminine Path with dashes in between, or femininemedicine.org. You can find all of my information and different events that we will be doing throughout the month and months to come. And may you have a blessed, blessed, blessed dark moon, new moon, and the whole lunar cycle. Beautiful. Thank you very much for being here. Peace.
Thank you, Dr. Luna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome all. Thank you.